blaze.com/TV.
Let's go to Pete in Newtown, Connecticut. Hello, Pete.
Hi, Glenn. How are you guys doing?
I'm good. How was your family affected by the shooting?
Severely affected. My son is a first grader there. He lost many of his friends. I was personally there. I'm also a volunteer with the San Diego Volunteer Fire Department, and it's been a very difficult month. I'm traveling right now for business, which has made it even harder.
May I just ask you a question?
Go ahead.
How do you, as a dad, how did you deal with this with your first grader?
I got to be honest with you because I was on my way to the school to do gingerbread houses with his class. It's just before Christmas.
Gosh.
And I was passed by the officers on my way to the school. That was before we were dispatched. I want to tell you, Glenn, I know you were having trouble with Victor, and the night before we actually had to put Jasmine down, which is our dog. She suddenly was diagnosed with cancer, and it went very fast. And when you want to talk about God's plan, about 3 o'clock on that Friday, I saw only a brief glimpse, and I knew why it happened. It was very, very, very tough and difficult. And when we got dispatched, I actually got an EKG later to make sure I didn't have a heart episode, because I've never felt terror like that in my entire life, ever.
I have to tell you, Pete, our heart goes out to you, and I hope you know that the country has been praying for all of you. And our heart has broken over this shooting. Have you seen? Has your son? Is he processing this?
He is.
Yet?
I got to tell you that my grandfather had passed away about a month earlier, and that actually turned out to be a good thing, because that was his first funeral, and it was a happy funeral because he was 85, and my son knew him really well. And it was not a sad day. We'd kind of been expecting it and working up to it. So he was able to we made it to 6 of the funerals. Unfortunately, so many of them overlapped, we couldn't do more, but two of his friends are in our Tiger Cub den, in my den. I'm the den leader. And we went in full uniform, and he had a little trouble with one of them, and I said, in our uniforms, we're safe. Nobody's going to touch us in our uniforms. And that kind of set something off, because for the first 3 days of school, he wouldn't go without his uniform on.
How does it feel when you see things? I mean, this video we talked about, 5.5 million hits, saying that this did not occur.
It makes me want to throw up all over again. I really, I don't have words for it. I can't believe that, it's kind of like the 9/11 conspiracies again. I'm like, that is an unimaginable way to even look at a tragedy or a horrific event. I don't understand where it comes from.
When would you be willing to tell, you were driving, the police passed you, you were going in to make gingerbread houses?
It's typical Friday morning. I run late a lot. I listen to you guys all the time. I'm a Blaze preferred, and I was listening to you guys, and I was traveling down Main Street after just doing some errands, and one of our town officers passed me, and at first I thought I was getting pulled over just because I'm like, was I speeding? I don't know. I was listening to you guys just kind of goofing off, and before I could pull over, he went by me so fast that my car shook. And that got my attention. And being a fireman, I have an emergency pager, and I'm able to listen to the fire and the EMS calls in town. So I was listening to the EMS calls, and when they called for the 2 ambulances, it still didn't occur to me, because where they had them staged at the United Methodist Church, it's not exactly that close to the school. The Newtown often will have some things happen, like the wood chipper murder, and with the oddball stuff. So in my mind, this was just a domestic, that something happened that morning, and it wasn't really anything to be concerned about. It wasn't until I got down close to the school that I was passed by 2 state officers, who were the first two state police on scene. And I started thinking that it could be the school, and I started to panic. I drove to the school, and I pulled in the driveway for the school, but I could only get about halfway down because of how many police were already there. And our firehouse is right next door. I was able to get into the firehouse parking lot quickly. By off chance, my chief was actually there. We're all volunteers, so it's not always somebody there. And I ran inside, and I actually heard the end of his phone call, telling somebody, yes, that's what I've heard. There's a shooting at the school. Immediately, my heart started pounding. I mean, my fingertips started to hurt because my heart was pounding so much. And we didn't get dispatched right away, as the police were trying to secure the scene. But once we did, it was very difficult to breathe and to actually get on the rescue truck and drive it. I mean, only 200 yards. We're talking 200 yards. Seemed like an hour drive.
I'm having a hard time even asking you this question. What did it feel like as a dad to know that your son was in that building and you could not go in and grab him?
It was extremely hard. I'm fortunate that the firehouse is like a big family. I've been a member before for a long period of time. My friends from high school are still there. Friends I've known for 30 years. And one of them, my EMS captain, her mother is the secretary in the office. She's the one that actually got the intercom open. And we were both together on the truck, and we were consoling each other and making sure that we were able to not only get in and do our jobs, but keep each other supported to make sure that everything was going to be all right. And I was fortunate because my son's class, due to his location in the school, was about the second class out, and I saw him right away within 7 minutes of being on scene.
Have you heard anything from any politician, any organization, or anything that makes any sense to you on what to do?
No, I will tell you that I was very frustrated that day because we were on scene quite a while, and at the chaos at the firehouse with the children being released to their parents, I didn't know who it was yet because they wouldn't let us into the scene. The cops held us outside, which was an aggravating situation at the time, but retrospect, I'm very thankful they did not allow us in. I know what it looked like inside. I know one of the survivors, and I know exactly what that individual saw, and they told me 100% of what happened, and I can't believe that a 6-year-old ever had to see that or be a part of that. I'm sorry for not sharing more detail.
No, I don't want to. I don't. We don't need.
I need to protect.
We don't need to know it. I thank you for your call, and I'm sorry that if you were listening and you heard about these conspiracy theories, that it's what prompted you to call.
I've been wanting to call a long time, and just listening to that, I'm like, we need to set the record straight. I was there. I've been to the funerals. I know the family's really close. I know a lot of those children, and it happened. It happened. It really happened.
I will tell you that if you don't mind, I'd like to put you on hold and get your phone number. And we've had other family members reach out to us, and I haven't talked to them about this idea because we just started to discuss these conspiracy theories this morning in a meeting. But next week I want to do a show or maybe 2 shows. I want to do a show on the good things because there are good things that happened that nobody has talked about.
Incredibly good things beyond my imagination.
And I want to do a couple of shows. One on the good things that happened because nobody's telling. Remember when the Amish had that mass shooting and all those good things happened, and that's what we concentrated on as a society. Nobody has done that on this, and we need to point those things out, or you'll lose your humanity. And the other thing I want to do is we're going to set the record straight on these conspiracy theories because there has to be a record of truth. There has to be something that says you will not pass here. These things are lies, and we have to do that.
Absolutely, and one other thing that's propagating them, I think, Glenn, is the fact that unfortunately the state police have a very difficult time investigating this one due to the way it ended, and their report is a little delayed, so I think that is also allowing things to run rampant without correcting it.
But when did we run to it didn't happen? When did we run to the people who are talking to the media are actors. When did we run to this is just a banking cover up? We never ran to those things. There's been things that have happened where it's delayed. We have so unpegged from belief in anything. I remember saying probably about 8 or 10 years ago now, if we don't restore our institutions and if we don't start doing them right, there won't be a single institution that you believe in or trust. And we are on the threshold of those days. And we must repair them in any way we can and gather together as a community of truth and stand in the truth, because otherwise it's going to just destroy everything. And we don't want to destroy everything. Just burn the lies out of our society and purify what we do have in the essence of truth and get down to there and build again. Pete,
I agree wholeheartedly.
God bless you, and I'm sorry you're away from your family today, but get back home and hug your kids when you can. God bless you.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you.